The story begins, and we see a woman is driving home when she sees 3 billboards on the side of the road. The billboards grab her attention, so she stops her car to think about them. She gets an idea and decides to put her own ads on those billboards. She quickly goes to a company to make this happen. There, she meets a man named Red Welby. She tells him she wants to rent the 3 billboards on Drinkwater Road. Since not many cars pass by this road, she gets a good deal of $5,000 for 1 month. Red is quite surprised because there is not much traffic on that road, and not many people want to put their ads there. She gives Red the message she wants on the billboards and asks for a 1-year contract, making sure that no one else can rent the billboards during that time. The ads are put up on the billboards, and each one has a different message that together form a question. The first billboard says, "Raped while dying," the second says, "And still no arrests," and the third says, "How come, Chief Willoughby?" These billboards are asking a question to the police. The woman who put up these billboards is named Mildred. Some time ago, something terrible happened to her, and she wants to find the answer herself. 7 months ago, her daughter was raped and murdered, and her body was left on the road. The police still have not caught the people who did it. After all this time, the police have no leads, so now Mildred is trying to find her daughter's killers herself. This is why she put up these billboards, to make the public, the government, and the police pay attention, and to get justice for her daughter. After the billboards are put up, a reporter talks to Mildred. Mildred says that her daughter still has not received justice, and her body is still buried. She does not know what the police are doing. She asks if children are only safe in the streets and not on the roads. The billboards upset the police, including Chief Willoughby. The police are doing their best to find her daughter's killers, but still have not succeeded. Mildred's billboards question the police, which is why they are very worried. Willoughby meets Mildred, who put up the billboards, and tells her that he is trying his best. He says the billboards are a bad idea and she should take them down, but Mildred refuses. Willoughby tells her he has cancer, hoping she will feel sorry for him and stop criticizing him. He says everyone in the small town knows about his illness. However, Mildred does not care. She says he should spend his time catching the rapist and murderer instead of talking to her. She thinks doing that might stop another girl from being raped. After that, we see another police officer named Dixon. He is very upset about the billboards because he knows Willoughby is a good person and a good police officer. He does not want anything bad said about him on the billboards. Dixon goes to Red and tries to convince him to take the billboards down, saying, "Willoughby has cancer and is going to die soon. In his final days, there should not anything like this." Despite this, the whole town supports Mildred and stands with her in her fight for justice for her daughter. But everyone is against the billboards because they know that Willoughby is a good person and a good police officer. One day, Mildred goes to a dentist. The dentist thinks what she is doing is very wrong, and before he can hurt her, Mildred drills a hole in his thumb with his own machine. After this, the police come to her house and take her to the police station, where Willoughby talks to her. He tries to convince her to take down the billboards, saying that he knows she does not have the money to pay for them, and that she paid this month's rent by selling her ex-husband's old tractor. Mildred is divorced from her husband, who now lives with a 19-year-old girl. While Willoughby and Mildred are talking, Willoughby starts coughing and bleeding from his mouth. Seeing this, she gets very upset and thinks about leaving. Mildred leaves, and an ambulance arrives to take Willoughby to the hospital. This incident makes Dixon very angry. Everyone else is against Mildred, and even her own son is against her. He does not like the idea of putting up billboards and is very angry with his mother. He says that he cannot stop thinking all day about his sister being raped and murdered. But when he comes home and sees those billboards, it brings everything back. He wants to move on and live peacefully. Her son feels this way because he wants to forget and move on from these events. But the news of his sister's death and the reason behind it, shown on the billboards, never lets him escape. The story then goes back in time, showing the day Mildred's daughter Angela was leaving the house. Angela asked her mother for the car, but Mildred refused. This led to a big argument between Mildred and Angela. Angered, Angela leaves the house and tells her mother that she will leave on foot if she does not give her car. She angrily tells her mother that she hopes someone rapes her on the way. Hearing this, she gets very angry, and she also angrily tells her daughter that she also wants from her to get raped on the way. Angela and Mildred were really mad. That is why they said those mean things, and later, those words turned out to be true. Also, their family was more stressed because Mildred's husband had left her, so the kids did not have their dad around to help. This made things even worse. And imagine how awful it must be for a mom to have her daughter hurt and killed without the bad person getting in trouble. That is why Mildred is fighting so hard for justice for her daughter. Deciding if what Mildred is doing to Chief Willoughby is fair is hard because he is a nice man and a good cop. It is not fair for him to deal with this when he is almost done working. Dixon, who works at the police, finds the situation really upsetting. To make Mildred stop, Dixon arrests her friend for having a bit of marijuana. He is trying to scare Mildred into taking down those billboards. Mildred is really mad and talks to Dixon, who says if she wants her friend out, she should take down those signs. Also, the $5,000 Mildred used for the signs is gone, so the month is up. Red calls her to his office and says if she wants the signs to stay, she needs more money, but she does not have it. Red also supports Willoughby and knows he is sick, so he thinks the signs should come down. While they talk, Red's assistant brings in an envelope with $5,000. This pays for another month, but nobody knows who gave it. Red has to keep the signs up for another month. At the same time, Willoughby is spending time with his family. After coming back from a fun day with his family, Willoughby waits until everyone is asleep and then kills himself. He knows he cannot fight the cancer inside him, and he cannot stand to see his family suffer as they watch him slowly die. He sees how much his family is struggling because of his illness, so he wants to end his life to give them peace. He leaves letters for his wife, Mildred, and Dixon. Willoughby's death makes everyone in the police department really sad. Dixon, especially, is really mad. He goes straight to Red's office, the guy who rented the signs to Mildred, and beats him up badly, throwing him out of a window and leaving Red seriously hurt. A new officer named Abercrombie, who is now in charge, sees what Dixon did. He tells Dixon he cannot work for a while because of his violent actions. At the same time, everyone in town starts to really dislike Mildred, thinking she's the reason Willoughby died. When Mildred is in her shop, a stranger scares and threatens her, but he leaves when Willoughby's wife shows up. She gives Mildred a letter from Willoughby. He says sorry for making her think he did not care about her daughter's case. He tells her he did care, but did not have enough proof to solve it. He thinks her idea of using the signs was smart, like a good move in chess. He says people might think he killed himself because of the signs, but that is not true. He paid for another month of the signs to make sure people do not blame her. That night, as Mildred goes home, she sees the 3 signs on fire. Someone has set them on fire. She hurries to put out the fire, but it is too strong, and the signs burn down completely. She feels really sad to see the signs burning, and she tries hard to stop the fire, but it is too big. Even though she is upset about the signs being destroyed, she does not lose hope. On the other hand, Dixon, who's been told not to work for a while, gets a call saying Willoughby left him a letter. He's asked to go to the police station to get it. The officer tells Dixon not to come now because there is someone there who does not like him. He is talking about the new chief who saw Dixon when he was hurting Red, and he does not like it. Since the chief does not like Dixon, they do not want any trouble for him. The officer says Dixon should come later when everyone's gone. That night, Dixon goes to the police station and finds the letter Willoughby left for him. He reads it right away. In the letter, Willoughby says he knows Dixon is a good person, but he's got a lot of anger because of his dad, and he has to take care of his mom. If Dixon can let go of this anger and hate, he can become the great detective he wants to be. Dixon needs love to do this because love brings peace to the mind. With a peaceful mind, he can see things clearly and think better. Meanwhile, Mildred goes to the police station, thinking the person who burned her signs is someone from the department, and she wants payback. First, she calls the station to check if anyone is there, but nobody picks up. Then she throws bombs that start a fire at the station. Inside, Dixon does not hear the fire because he is listening to music with headphones. When there is a big blast, Dixon realizes the building is on fire. He manages to escape with Angela's case file, but he gets badly burned. Mildred feels really sorry, knowing Dixon got hurt because of what she did. Dixon is in the hospital, and Red, whom Dixon hurt badly, is there too. Red cannot see Dixon because his face is covered in bandages. Red offers Dixon some orange juice. Dixon, feeling sorry after reading Willoughby's letter, admits to Red that he threw him out of the window and apologizes. Red stays silent for a while, then tells Dixon not to cry because tears won't heal him. He brings Dixon some orange juice, showing he forgives him somehow. The next morning, the man who put up the signs comes to Mildred's house. He says if anything happens to the signs, the company will replace them. Mildred and her friends put the signs back up. Also, Mildred's friend, who was arrested by Dixon, is released. A few days later, Dixon is almost all better and is at a bar. He hears a man bragging about raping a girl a few months back, describing her in a way that sounds like Angela, Mildred's daughter. This is the same man who scared Mildred at her shop. Dixon notes the guy's car plate number, then goes back to the bar and sits in front of him, saying the man does not have to worry about him. Dixon says he wants to show him a trick. He scratches the man's face to get a DNA sample. The two men beat Dixon up badly, but he manages to get back home with the DNA sample. Dixon's plan is to compare this sample with the DNA of the man who raped and killed Mildred's daughter. Even though he is really hurt, he succeeds in his plan. Meanwhile, Mildred is at a bar with a man when her ex-husband, Charlie, walks in. He is with a 19-year-old girl. Charlie tells Mildred that he is the one who burned the signs because he was drunk. Even though Charlie is deeply upset about their daughter's rape and murder, he did not think the signs were the right answer. When Charlie goes back to his table with his young girlfriend, Mildred grabs a champagne bottle. Charlie thinks she is going to hit him with it, but instead, she tells him to take care of his young girlfriend, who is about the same age as their daughter would have been. Then Mildred leaves. Later, Dixon visits Mildred and tells her about the man he heard talking in the bar. He says he got a DNA sample and it is being tested in the lab. Dixon hopes this might be the man who hurt Angela. He shares this to give Mildred hope. Then he leaves. Mildred thanks him. They used to not like each other, but things are different now. When Dixon goes to the police station to get the DNA report, his boss tells him he did a good job. But the DNA does not match the man who hurt Angela. In fact, this man has never done anything wrong before. He's never been in trouble, and when Angela was hurt, he was not even in the country. He was away for military duty, Dixon's boss says. Dixon says maybe he did not hurt Angela, but he hurt someone because Dixon heard him confessing. His boss says he was probably just bragging. He probably did not actually do anything. Dixon tells Mildred everything, leaving them both disappointed. Mildred wonders if the man they suspected could be guilty. Dixon explains he was not in the country when Angela was hurt. They decide to visit the man. Mildred admits she set the police station on fire. Dixon knew it already. Mildred asks if they should hurt the man. Dixon says no. Mildred agrees. They decide to figure things out as they go, and the story ends here.